once again. Hello and welcome in PowerPass, your ticket to greatness. Today we are on our hero's journey, and together with Hakiel, we will be speaking about something very important that happens during our journey. And this important thing is responsibility and taking this responsibility seriously. Are we afraid of it, or are we embracing it? That are the questions that you need to ask yourself. And maybe this podcast, this episode, will give you some more clarity about it. So, what is the responsibility of a hero?
Mm. I think the responsibility it's linked with freedom, okay, and it's quite misunderstood sometimes because the fear of responsibility is the fear of compromise with many things, okay. Even sometimes you have the fear, for example, to build a family, to buy a house, to have kids. So it's about responsibility more with the community, let's say. And you are involved in that community. So it's like a pressure that you can find. And then it's like, I don't know if I'm ready to fit in the community.
Okay,
And
so
yeah.
wait a second. Are we speaking right now about the social pressure? It's like the environment is expecting us to build a house, to have children, to plant a tree, to have a car, to have a decent job. And so this is all the social responsibility, all the things that we think that we should do to fit well in the society, in the world, okay? And what about the responsibility of our own life? Is it we are not responsible for our own life to live it happily, to be responsible for our own happiness and to follow what we truly want, not what society wants from us? So how can we balance both of it?
I think here we have to bring the concept of adulthood.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's like there are tiers of responsibility that they whisper to you something like you are not capable, or maybe you can fail, or maybe then you can feel stuck. So many things that you avoid because of the fear of the responsibility, it's about the fear of getting stuck in something, and especially with something that the society says to you to do.
So for example, the society expects a man, especially a man, to provide for the whole family, to have a house, to have a stable job. And okay, so we finished the school, we finished the universities, we are entering the adulthood. And then what? We hit a wall because we are afraid to take responsibility for it, or how?
It can be. I think this is a very personal question that the people they have to ask to themselves. Because look, if you make the choice of, okay, I don't want, let's say, to have kids, you are free to do that. This is the reason because I started to say that this fear of responsibility is very connected with freedom. Okay, so let's go imagine. Okay, I don't want kids. I want to do, I don't know, maybe some studies. Maybe I just want to travel around the world. I don't want to have kids to messing around. So it's okay. The thing is, if you have this speech with yourself And suddenly comes another kind of inner conversation that it's like, why you don't have a normal life? And here's this inner conversation, the second one that hits you, that he's exactly asking to you, okay, so maybe you want all that because actually you fear to be responsible for something else that is out of your control. Because if you think kids, a partner, or even to buy a house is not something that is just your entire responsibility. You have to compromise yourself.
You need to compromise your freedom. Yeah.
Exactly. So at that point, it's important exactly to put in the scale and understand, okay, so am I talking about freedom or am I talking about fear of responsibility? Because many people, they hide themselves under this blanket of freedom.
Okay.
Freedom sounds good.
So the feeling that I want to be free, I don't care about family, I just want to travel the world and experience as much as possible. And then we've done it, okay, we experienced it, and we reach a certain point in which we are saying, okay, it would be nice to settle down, yet there is something that we are not saying to ourselves. It's like we are becoming afraid to settle down, and we are using the freedom that we will lose, let's say, for not taking responsibility and expanding our life or experiencing something different that might be even an opposite of what we experienced before.
Yes, because even, for example, as I said to you before, it's about to really be an adult. Because imagine, if you have fear of responsibility, it's not just about kids, partner, and so on. It's also, for example, about the business. How many people are frustrated in jobs and they don't want, and they don't give a step forward to create a business on their own, that even they have the idea, they have the plan, they have the product, they have everything in their minds. And then it's like, then if I have this business, I don't know about my wage in the end of the month. Then it's like, but also if I keep my job, I just work from Monday to Friday and I have my weekends off. And maybe if I am the owner of a business, then even my weekends disappear. Then even maybe I have to work from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m.
Yeah, we've got this.
So then the person starts to exactly. So then the person comes to you and says, "No, I really appreciate my freedom." But actually, they are enslaving themselves in a job that they hate.
Yeah. So, okay.
So they are not being responsible for their own dreams, for their own adventures. So they are not being the hero.
Yeah, you are just living on an autopilot in that way. My question about it is, how can we become aware of it? Because it's very often this kind of fear of taking responsibility and excuse of freedom. It's very unconscious. We are very often not aware that we are doing it to ourselves. So what kind of questions we can ask ourselves, or what kind of process we can use to become aware? Okay, what is it that I truly want? Do I want to stay in this job, or do I want to have a business? Do I want to travel, or do I want to settle down? How can we become aware of these processes that are coming in our mind?
I think it's your inner voice that tells you everything. You just have to be aware about the inner conversation that comes and hits you. Because look, socially, we have a face. It's our personality. And our personality is a result of traumas in the past. So in the way that you learned how to cope with the pain by that time, now you have the structure that you show to the world who you are. That is fake, okay? It's not exactly you.
That's one of the masks. Yeah.
It's one of the masks, exactly. So let's say you have this mask of, I love freedom. Okay, it's fine. The other mask that is behind this one, and it's more connected with you, the real you, can match, okay? Because this real you can really match here. Okay, I'm not saying that people are always fake, because can match. The sense of freedom can really be deeply sensed by someone. Okay, I'm not saying the opposite. The situation is, if they match, your inner voice will not be annoying you about this, why you don't have a normal life or why you don't try. Okay, if people imagine, they say, no, I hate my job, but I carry on. I carry on because I prefer this life and so on. And suddenly, when they are at their job, the inner conversation starts. Why are you here? Why you don't start that job, that business that you want? If this inner conversation, it's dominant, especially when you are there, okay, it's time to wake up. Okay, so it's time for you grow up, okay, and talk as an adult to yourself. Okay, so if you are having this inner conversation that goes on every time that you are, so what do you exactly want? So
okay.
This is one sign.
Let me sum it up and see if I understood it properly.
Okay.
We've got our masks that we put and we show them to other people and we show them to ourselves as well. And the one that it's social, that it's a show off, let's say, that we are presenting ourselves to the society, to other people, how we are, what we are. And if this mask is not connected with the mask that we are showing to ourselves, so with our basic values or with what we truly want, we are starting to have this conversation within ourselves, and this inner voice is saying, why are you not doing what you really want to do? And then we are starting creating resistance and tension until until we break, or until we accept.
Yeah, or you behave like a child, because look, sometimes it's like, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go to work. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to fall and I'm going to say that I'm sick because I don't want to go to work. This is a tantrum. This is the child in you that doesn't want to become an adult.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the child that says to you, I'm not responsible, because a child is not responsible.
It can play. Yeah? It can be free and play. Yes.
Yes, exactly. The child has the parents that feed her, that pay everything. So the child doesn't have a responsibility. Like us, when we grew up, the world changed.
Like us. Okay, but what happens when we really don't want to go to this work? So do we need to force ourselves and go there, or take responsibility and say, okay, I don't like this kind of work. I am taking responsibility for my life, and I'm looking for something that will give me pleasure, that will be aligned with me, with my talents, with my skills. And I choose every morning to wake up and do something that I truly enjoy, instead of waking up and thinking, oh, damn, I need to go to work again. So how to balance it? How to satisfy our inner child and allow ourselves this freedom, and in the same time be responsible? Is it possible, or do we
I
need
think
to
in the matter of work, and especially if you want to create your own business, you have to talk to your child, to your inner child, and say, here, you don't have any opinion. So just stop, especially if you want to create your own business. Okay, because the child doesn't want that you have a business. The child doesn't want the responsibilities. The child even doesn't know how to deal with responsibilities. So she will cry and will make a mess inside of you.
Mhm.
This is the reality. So sometimes it's quite good that people are quite aware about their inner child.
Yeah.
And that was their childhood. Because then you have different moments in your life, and this is about the hero's journey, that then you refuse the call. Then even if the mentors come to you, if the people around you come and say to you, now it's time, let's go, and you no, I don't want. And this inner child with fear of the responsibility is the main responsible exactly for stop you and start the journey. And this
Or
is about different things in our life.
wait, because I didn't get the last sentence. Or
Mhm.
okay, our inner child doesn't want responsibility. It wants to play, it wants to be careless, it
Yes.
wants to enjoy life. And the adult aspect of us, we want to achieve something. We want to achieve our goals. We want to achieve our dreams. And
Mhm.
therefore,
Yes.
the inner child might create chaos within us in order to not allow us to take the responsibility.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so
Exactly.
uh, you said that we need to have this conversation with ourselves, with this aspect of us that it's creating havoc and
Mhm.
chaos, that doesn't want responsibility, and just tell it,
Yeah.
okay, that's enough. We are doing now what I am saying,
Mhm.
and you can play later.
Yes. And for that, you have to compromise.
You have to compromise with yourself.
Yes. Or with someone we plan. Okay, we will meet once per week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Compromise. We lost the freedom. Yeah. To have these meetings and we carry on with this idea of the hero's journey. We
Yeah.
talk to our adult because our child, come on, really again, even being recorded. No one wants that. So this was kind of conversation that we had, of course, between each other, but also with ourselves. Yeah.
With our inner child, yes.
Yeah, with our not with our inner child, with our adult, because it's like the adult needs to say to the child, you know, my dear, you are amazing. I will let you play in another time, in another moment. But for now, we have this on Mondays.
Yeah.
And we start the journey.
What is coming to me is that there are some things that we are doing, at least that I am doing in my professional work, that feels like play, that I
Mhm,
really enjoy, and I'm
mhm,
having lots of fun doing.
mhm.
And then my work or my business doesn't look like a responsibility. It's a form of
Mhm.
play in which my inner child can be free and can play. Yet it's this kind of playground in which every day I invite
Yes.
my inner child and
Mhm.
say, okay, that's the playground
But
today.
you are talking about a different thing because you are saying what? First, you are hiding the adult part that you had to take to do it. So you are not saying that. you opened the company, you had to go through documents, you had to go through registrations and all these things.
Yeah, that's all
And
the boring stuff. Yeah.
But these things are the adult things. So when you started that, you had to calm down your inner child and you said, okay, Matt, you are now an adult, so you have to do these steps. 1, 2, 3 that you hate for sure, but they have to be done. And yes, of course, then, as you say, you can find the pleasure because again, the inner voice that before was upsetting you, like, what are you doing with your life? What is this job? Or
yeah, the inner dialogue. Yeah.
What are you planning for your life? Now came back as, of course, a part that gives you a lot of pleasure. I'm not saying that starting a business or compromising with something then is just a burden for all our life. I'm not saying that it will be a burden for all our life, because again, after the burden, you have the pleasure. And then it's like everything in our life. You have stuff that they feel good, that you have stuff that they are not so good, but you carry on. And especially if you have something that you really love. If you really love that, the burden is lighter. And that's it.
So, okay, to get it clear,
okay,
in our life, in our day-to-day life, we've got aspects of our life in which we can allow our inner child to go out and play and enjoy what we are doing, and we've got another parts of our life that our adult self needs to take control over. And however, those things might seem boring or might seem well, not necessarily boring, but they are things that we are putting responsibility into, responsibility into. So we are dedicating ourselves to do something. We are dedicating ourselves to read a page of a book every day, to do 20 minutes of workout, to do something for ourselves that will help us for the long run. And sometimes the inner child goes in a conflict because inner child wants instant gratification. It's a child. It doesn't think about the future.
Exactly. And also it's quite important in what you say, underline the importance of the things that you don't do. Because you were mentioning the things that, of course, you take the responsibility of read a book, I don't know, in 1 month, or a page of a book in 1 day, I don't know. But then are the things that you are not doing that are exactly saying you have a problem here. Because it's like your adult part that fitted in the world is saying something like, yeah, I can't do that with this, I can't cope. With the things that you can't cope, you don't do.
Yeah, you put them away because it's
exactly painful. So then they are coming to you to hunt you. Yeah, these are the things that come to you. What are you doing? Why don't you have a normal life? So when you have this inner conversation about why you don't have your normal life, it's important exactly that you reply back. What do you mean with normal life?
Yeah.
Because normal life have different meanings. Because, for example, then you can understand that the normal life can be something that, for example, let's say you get married, or even if you don't get married, you get kids. So it depends then of your conversation of normal. Or even, for example, you can consider normal be on your own. So but it depends on your inner conversation.
Asking yourself and being honest with yourself and just telling yourself, what do I truly want?
Yes. Because, for example, some people, they say, even there is a desire of getting married. And then if you are going to explore this getting married, you can see that it's totally far away from the traditional way. Okay, so the person asks to herself why she doesn't have a normal life. Even she doesn't know exactly what she means, but when she asks back, so what is this normal life? The person says, imagine, I want to have a partner, but let's go think, but I don't want that this partner lives with me. For instance. And for the person, this can be normal.
Yes.
And can be okay, but it's quite important to define what the inner voice wants exactly, because sometimes it's not very clear. Yes. The things are hidden, are in the unconscious. So many times comes through symbols or easy words.
Dreams, metaphors. Yeah, that's
yes.
how the subconscious mind.
Yes, and then our rational mind struggles to understand, just to listens, but then it's like, I'm not happy, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know what I want.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So, okay, how can we become aware that we are pushing these thoughts away, that we are afraid of taking responsibility, or afraid of even facing the question, what do I truly want? Am I satisfied and happy in the life that I'm living right now?
I think that, for example, if you want to start to clarify the things, you really have also to understand how unhappy you are. Because, of course, we have phases in our life. Imagine that you have a job, you are always happy in there. You could achieve different job positions, and you were happy there. And suddenly, you start a phase in your life that doesn't give you pleasure to be there. So here it's quite important to understand what doesn't give you pleasure. Because it's about what? It's the environment. It's the job position that maybe you don't want more responsibility, or maybe you want more responsibility. Yeah, because it plays in both ways. And it's quite important to understand your inner conversation. I know an expression that is quite interesting. That is the inner conversation that you have when you are brushing teeth, because you are totally distracted. So the inner conversation comes up.
The thoughts start flowing.
Yes, exactly. And it's in that moment that you really have to understand what comes to you. And for you find exactly the answer, you have to exactly identify what is wrong. Why are you not happy? Because look, your emotions are exactly the thing most important that you have in your system. Because they are telling you, hey, guy, there is something wrong. Pay attention, look around, and try to find what is wrong. And if these emotions starts to grow inside of you, it's good that you understand exactly why it's growing. Because as I say to you, for some people, too much responsibility can be something that they don't want. Some people, they prefer less. Some people, they prefer more. So this is something that you have to even to understand what you do when you brush teeth, when you are having a shower, for example.
When you are open.
These are the moments that you are totally distracted. Because, for example, it's quite common that when people are like relaxing in this way, or that they are just brushing teeth, the same conversation comes. It's always the same conversation until it gets solved.
Mm-hmm.
And the person even doesn't understand because gets used to.
Yeah, it's automatic.
Exactly.
Very much automatic.
So it's like, it's so normal, that conversation, that doesn't pay attention anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one of my advices is exactly paying attention in this inner conversation that appears when you have a shower, when you brush your teeth.
When you're distracted.
Yes, because if the person pays attention, starts to notice, okay, this kind of conversation, maybe I have it for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. It was on repeat.
So 20 years. So what is happening here? What I'm afraid of. Because if this continues to talk, it's because it's not satisfied.
Yeah. Some aspect of us is just telling us that there is something more. I had exactly very similar situation when I was working in a really good company with amazing people, and for the first year of me cooperating with them and with this company, it was amazing. Every day I was happy, satisfied, everything was smooth, incredibly. And then after a year about, I started to wake up and feeling I don't want to go there anymore. It's like I feel like my mission there was complete.
Yes.
And then I was like, what do I want? What do I want? And my answer came, I want to do something else. And then getting clarity on what do you truly want to do, it's a role of asking questions yourself. What do I like? What are my natural talents? What rings my bells today? What I would like to learn? So, yeah.
But it's important here that people, they start to ask to themselves, what I fear to compromise with.
What do I fear to compromise with?
Yes, because, for example, people can fear to lose their freedom, the time for the family, the money that they get from their job position, that they travel very often, and then if they start their new business, maybe they can't travel so often. So these are the things that the person needs to understand what I fear to compromise with. What are the things that I believe that my freedom is in there?
Mm-hmm. What I'm afraid of losing?
Yes, because if you are afraid of losing something, it's because you are attached to this. And if you are attached to this, you are enslaved to that. Period. Because then if you even if you change your life and if you move this factor, the things will touch you.
Yes. You will grow. You will go beyond what you are up to.
Yes. So it's quite curious and important here. People, they start to understand their values. So what are the things that make them get attached? Because, for example, some people, they have the value of the success, of recognition, of the compromise with themselves, with the compromise with the other, with the security, freedom, justice, and so on. And everything is okay, since then you respect them, because when you are not respecting them, you struggle. So it's quite important for the people start to understand what is really a priority for them, for they be in respect with themselves. It's in alignment.
So if we had to sum up all the conversation today's episode, because we're running almost out of our time for today, what would be the best advice that you could do to our listeners?
So I think I have said already, first to understand exactly what is the fear of compromise that you have. What is making you struggle that if you think that you lose will affect all your life. Okay. Then it's about exactly paying attention in this inner conversation that appears when you are distracted, because this is the conversation that I'm sure that over repeats for ages. If you are not listening to yourself, ages. So this is a clue for you start to understand exactly what inside of you is asking for change. And asking for change is exactly to accept a call. It's a beginning of a new journey, of the hero's journey.
The hero's journey. And you are the hero of your own journey. So
all of us.
All of us, yes. And don't be afraid to look into it, into your own values, into your own life, and what would you truly love to experience? What would you truly love to do? How your life could look like if you would really truly do something that you really love, and see what kind of fear is holding you back. Is it money? The money is always connected with safety, with being able to provide for family, to pay the bills, to have a house. So if there is some kind of responsibility that your inner child doesn't want to take, you can look into it and just be aware. Be aware of your own thoughts. Be aware of the inner dialogue that happens, especially when you're brushing your teeth.
Or having a shower.
Or having a shower.
Doesn't matter. Or even when they are doing their makeup.
Yes.
Or combing their hair. Doesn't matter.
So whenever you're distracted, your inner child and your inner dialogue is able to sneak through the gaps of your consciousness and give you exact informations. What do you truly want? The aspect of you that it's deep inside. So yes, that's everything in today's episode. And we invite you for the next episode next Monday at 6 o'clock, the same channels. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mateusz and Hakiel say
Bye.
goodbye.